Welcome back. So right now we have this static data. Let's try and convert that into some dynamic data. So depending on the customer we add, we'll show specific information about the customer. Now, how do we do this? Well, first of all, we need to actually, inside the TS file right here, the component, customer component TS file, we actually need to create a customer to hold that information. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a new customer right here. And let's just call it customer. And he's going to be of the type customer. You remember we built that earlier. That's actually this guy right here, the type customer. If I open that one, you'll see it's called customer right here. So that's the class customer. And I want to kind of reference that now. I want to say that the customer is going to be of the type customer, right? So this is the property and this is the type. And I want that type to get in there. So to do that, if you mouse over, you'll be told that it cannot find customer right now. And if you go away, it'll actually try and tell you that if you press Alt Enter or on the Mac Option Enter, and you just select this area right here, it'll actually try to import it for you, right? So there we go. Now we have the customer imported. And one thing that lint complains about is that we're using double quotation marks up here. So let's go and fix that so we don't have to do that again. I'm just going to remove this again. And then I'm going to change the settings in WebStorm here. So I'm going into WebStorm. I'm going into Preference. I'm going into Editor, Code Style, Typescript. And I'm selecting punctuation. And there I'm going to switch to single instead of double right here. Like that. I'm going to say OK, and let's try and import this guy again now. And then hopefully he'll put it in the right way. And there we go. Now he's actually using the lint standard of single quotation marks. So go and then make that setting. And if you don't do it, just make this into single or double quotation. JavaScript doesn't care, but lint cares, the guy who kind of makes you write the code in a very specific way. Sweet. Back to the code. So now we have a customer available. Now he's nothing right now. He's just an empty null object, right? There's nothing in there. So in the constructor, we're going to try and initialize this guy. And that's very easy in the Angular framework. So we'll do a this.customer. Now we have the customer up here, right? That's by doing the this keyword. Remember, you have to explain that it's this customer in this class. That's why I'm putting in this. And then I'm just going to do curly bracket right here. Doot, whoa, doot, doot. There we go. And in that one, I'm going to explain that this customer is going to have a first name. That's going to be Lars. And a comma. Oh, I shouldn't do equal sign, by the way. It's a semicolon. And then a colon, sorry. And then a single quotation right here. Because that's how lint wants it. And let's also do a space there, lint. I'm sorry. I'll do what you tell me. And then I'll have a last name. And it helps me autocomplete because it knows these guys are available. Let's call this Bilde. So now we actually have a guy available, and again lint is trying to help me, you need a space there. So here we have Lars Bilde available, and let's just call him Lars Bob so you guys can see there's a difference soon. Now we have a customer, he's initialized, and let's try and go into our HTML code now for the customer component HTML, jumping in that one. And here we are going to, instead of using h3 with this actual name right here, we're going to just use the binding like we talked about earlier. And here there's now a customer available because we just set him up in here in the TypeScript code, right? This guy is now a property that the HTML file can now use. We're going to ask for his first name, right? That's all we had to do. Now we'll just do the same thing because I just want a space in here, and then I want his last name as well. There we go. So now I've kind of just added this guy in here. Let's try and see how this looks now. Lars Bob. So now it's actually dynamic, meaning that if I went and changed this inside the program at some point, back to Bilde right here, I saved the program, it'll actually change up here as well. So now you have a dynamic view where we can actually start talking about a customer, and that data will actually be used in the HTML now instead of just static data here. Now we would do the same, of course, if the customer had an image or an address, we would also add that up here. So let's just keep that static for now, and later we can have a look at that. See you in the next lesson.